Good day, Starsmill. I'm Thomas Indy here with the Prowler, and today I have the privilege of interviewing Mr. Lennard, who's a principal here at Starsmill High School, and Ms. Shoemaker, who's on the English department here at Starsmill High School. So the reason why we're doing this interview is because apparently Mr. Lennard taught Ms. Shoemaker when she was in high school. So my first question, is directed towards Ms. Shoemaker, which is, how was Mr. Lennard as a teacher in high school? And kind of tell us what that was like.
Oh my god, that was like 15 years ago?
More.
Okay, cool, we're that old. Were you getting your master's then? Or you just got your master's?
Yeah, I was probably getting my master's,
Yeah.
or well, I was definitely in grad school.
Yeah, so I remember that. So I remember him doing work sometimes. So I remember projects a lot. I don't remember much, it was a long time ago. Okay, so we should probably give you some background information.
Okay.
But I've known Mr. Lennard my entire
I've known Ms.
life.
Shoemaker her entire life. And when I say her entire life, I mean like diapers, and because her family and my family were both soccer families in Fayette County growing up. Her oldest brother is 1 year ahead of me, was 1 year ahead of me in high school. Her younger brother, or her younger of the two brothers, but still older than her, was 2 years behind me at Fayette County High School, and we were all soccer players.
Right.
And so, back in those days, the days of really at that point, especially growing up, only one high school or two high schools in Fayette County. We were all part of the Fayetteville soccer community, the Fayette County soccer community, as opposed to the Peachtree City soccer community. And so everybody really knew everybody. Her parents.
We went to church together too.
We went to church together too.
Wow.
So you're kind of asking me a loaded question.
I'm honestly more interested now in the backstory of like how long you guys have known each other.
Well, I want to answer your question. So when you're asking about what he was like as a teacher, it's a loaded question because
You already knew him before.
I knew him before, so
Right.
when I was in his classroom, it was like,
It wasn't the normal student-teacher relationship.
Right.
Right.
Because of all of the backstory that went along.
Right.
Now, there wasn't issues or anything else like that came along with it. I mean, there was still some of the normal student-teacher relationship, but
I don't
she
have
was.
any memories of him as a teacher. I do
Right.
have some memories, but
She has memories of me as a high school student, and I have memories of her. I mean, I have a picture on my computer of my little brother brushing her hair as she sat in a stroller on the sidelines of a soccer game when he was 4 and she was 2 or 1. I mean, that young. So I mean, our families go so
his
far
sister
back.
went to prom with my brother.
Right.
No way.
Yes.
That
I
is
student
hilarious.
taught with his brother. At Callaway High School.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of interested in like that
That's
whole
what I was
thing.
saying.
So
I don't think you were.
I still play
prepared for-
soccer against her brother in the Peachtree City Adult League. I mean, again, our families are very, have lots of. I wouldn't say we're intertwined, but we have lots of stories.
But we're like pretty
together.
close.
And his sister and my brother are still best friends.
That's cool.
Yeah, like I think that Jeannie is probably Andy's best friend.
Probably fair.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
I think so.
I try not to pay attention to my sister.
I don't. That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. I think so. Yeah, they go to Six Flags together all the time. It's
That's
like their families.
That's pretty
too.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I
it's
guess so you guys have this kind of whole past being friends, like growing up and stuff. So is it like really fun? Like when you had him as a teacher, or like now when you guys are working together, is it just like?
Well, it was kind of weird when he was my teacher because like I've always called him Allen. So then when he was my teacher, I had to call him Mr. Lennard, which was weird.
Yeah.
So there was another teacher at our school who was Mr. Allen.
Yep.
So when I had
man.
to talk, I would sometimes call him Mr. Allen. Well, Mr. Allen was a short, large, hairy man. So my friends
He taught math.
and he taught math. And my friends would be like, "How do you confuse the two?" I'm like, "I'm not confusing them. His first name is Allen, and I've called him Allen my entire life." Like, it would frustrate me, but that's, like, I know that he's Mr. Lennard. I know that he's Mr. Allen. And I've never had Mr. Allen, but anyway, it was like, but I know that, anyway, but I would call him Mr. Allen. And, like, my friends were like, "You're just dumb." I'm like, "I'm not dumb." Like, I know there's a difference, but I remember that. And I also remember he would, like, he would do these stupid like bonus questions on the board before we had our friend Google. That's,
Oh, yeah.
Thanks Nancy Clutch for that. But like, what was it? One of them would be like, who is the director of, was it Homeland Security? No, he is the Homeland Security, or was the, who was the director of something something? And the answer would be Tommy Thompson. That's my dad's name. And he'd be like, you should know this. You should know this, Whitney. And I'm like, I don't know who it is. And then the answer would be Tommy Thompson. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Or
It was a government class, so I mean, it did make
Okay,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
it
a
went
government
along.
class, so
Yeah.
it went along with what we were doing, but it
Yeah.
also had that little personal tie in there. That
right.
classroom.
And I'm like, oh, okay, that's my dad's name. And there was a guy in government named Tommy Thompson. What was the other one you did? Oh, who was the most evil man in history? I'll never forget this. And everyone was like, oh, it's Hitler.
Yeah, I'm
It's
thinking Hitler.
right? Nope, it's Henry Ford.
Killed way more people than Hitler. Think about the automobile.
That's
The
true.
automobile, the mass
Accidents.
production of the automobile has definitely caused more deaths and environmental destruction and everything else.
No.
Yep.
And then
I
the other
mean,
one.
I could definitely see that.
I remember more about his bonus question.
That was more about getting kids to think about things as
Right.
opposed to.
Yeah, no. And I'm still talking about it. I'm
Yes.
speaking 15 years later. No.
So that's kind of cool that you guys have like this kind of like backstory,
Mhm.
like relationship kind of thing growing
Mhm.
up, but when you had him as a teacher, I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
that's
yeah.
kind of fun.
It's also weird because my first year here, I taught a girl who was very similar. Like her sister was one of my best friends, Barrett Pope.
Oh, yeah.
Like her older sister, we graduated together, and she's one of my. So it was kind of very similar. I was like, oh, I've been in your shoes, because Mr. Lennard, our new assistant principal, because he and I came to Stars Mill the same year together too.
As I said, I was assistant principal that year.
Yeah.
Oh wow! So how was that? Were you guys like, oh my gosh, we're
Yeah.
back in school again?
Yeah,
Like,
it was kind of nice. Like I was like, okay, cool, because I was coming from a different district back to Fayette County, so I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, that's nice. They were coming into the same school together. That was,
mhm.
And I'd kept up with her over the years too, again, because the families were close.
Right.
And she was teaching and coaching cheerleading at a school that was in our region, Harris County at the time. So
Mhm.
there were times that I'd go down there and
Mhm.
for games for my from my other school and be able to see her and I guess so.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
it's always been it's always
Mhm.
been a friendly, not normal relationship, not the standard teacher student or teachers
Right.
administrator, that sort of thing, just because again when you have grown up and stayed in the same community for we've been here, I've been in Fayette County for almost 40 years. Whitney's been here her entire life. When it's those people that you grew up with and you grew up knowing and you have that backstory with not just them but their entire family, there's always that different connection that you have than you have with the person who is just, and not to say but you just don't have that backstory. And even today too, the relationships that our families have. I mean, I ride bikes with her father-in-law. I do races and things with her husband. Really, as we've gotten older,
You've gotten closer, kind of.
Well, it's-
same relationship.
Well, like
most.
the
My-
connections just keep
Yeah.
getting more, like the spider web keeps getting more and more dense.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so.
He's really quick. Like, yeah, he's still with my in-laws. It's funny. Like they're, married into this racing family, and he does triathlons and stuff, and my in-laws all do triathlons because they're crazy.
Just another connection.
And, yeah,
Okay.
more.
Depth to the web.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So like, I guess you were saying like that you were changing, I guess like her diapers as a baby. Like you guys were.
Oh no, I wasn't changing.
that was,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I remember her when she was in diapers. Like,
Okay.
I knew, yeah. No, I mean,
Because I think he
I
was
can't
in-
tell you that I remember when she was born
little-
because I was still a little kid at that point too.
Right.
But I've known her family as long as I can remember being in Fayetteville, and I moved into Fayetteville when I was 4.
I can tell you the Lennards were always known for. Was it y'all had the red Beetle? Or the bug?
We drove we shared a red convertible Beetle that each one of the kids drove as they were in high school. Yeah.
Like all of the Lennards, there were 3 of them, the kids,
Right.
and they all drove the same. It was kind of fun, like all
That's
of them
hilarious.
passed it down.
Yeah, like a
Because Alan was
turkey.
the oldest. No, Alan,
the
Jean,
oldest.
yes. sorry. That makes sense because Andy's in the middle and Jeannie's in the middle. But
Right.
anyway, they all drove it. And that's what they were all known for. That was kind of cool.
That is
That was
pretty
always
cool.
kinda we never shared anything in our family. But I thought it was always cool that
Your brother was, he absorbed all the oxygen in the room and didn't really give you that opportunity.
yeah, that's very true. That's a different story altogether.
So did like the families ever like come together and like
well,
hang out or?
I think just a church something, but I think with Jeannie and our middle siblings, Jeannie
Yeah.
and
They're pretty
Andy,
close.
were probably the
They're
closest.
still much closer than, yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
And you know, ultimately too, when you get to, you know, her brothers both have kids that are in school. I have kids that are in school. My sister has kids that are in school. It gets to be harder and harder to hang out with people, you know, as you're doing all the kid things too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
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 But like if Andy does something, my middle brother, like Jeannie, is usually I think they are the closest.
yeah.
I think that's, like I said, they go to.
Well, and she was the youngest and I was the oldest too. And so again, it was, you know, I don't want to say, you know, that, you know, we were ever really hanging out together as,
Yeah,
you know,
just
that
kinda
sort of
like
thing.
He's a lot older than I am.
Yeah, a lot, but younger than your older brother, the judge.
Yes. But like his brother Matt, who's the youngest, like I said, we student taught together and we lived in LaGrange at the same time. So it just was by
Yeah,
happenstance.
you hung out with him
I
more
hung out with
socially
his-
than
a
me,
lot.
yeah.
Mhm. So like when we were student teaching, he was already a teacher and I did my student teaching, so we hung out more socially. So they were definitely more of the, which I thought was weird. I'm like, this is weird. I'm hanging out with Alan's younger brother. Like that time I thought of him more as like he was my teacher. And then I came here and I was like, oh, now he's my like supervisor. And anyway, it kind of shifted that perspective.
So there's always like a Leonard
yes,
with you in
kinda.
teaching and like always like someone.
It was kinda
Well,
funny.
got this Leonard now. Well, now I have this Leonard
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's kind of funny. Like it was very. Yeah, I went from Callaway. Well, I did teach for a little while
And Harris.
at Harris County with no Lennards, but yeah.
But then came back here and
Came
now
back here and yeah.
another Leonard.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
So, did you ever teach Curtis Leonard, or do you have any of
Mm-mm.
his kids?
He made sure to. I'm just kidding. We
I
don't pick
don't
teachers.
request teachers. Not at this point. She hasn't had one, but there's still plenty more opportunities coming.
That would be fun. But how is your relationship like now, as like colleagues? He's your supervisor. Is it just basically the same as?
Well, I think it's important. I mean, there's a difference between the school relationship and the outside relationship, and I think that I don't think there's anybody here on staff that I have as long of a personal relationship with as Whitney, because again, I don't know that there's anybody here. Mr. Buck is probably the closest because he and I grew up playing soccer together on the same teams and all that sort of stuff. But I knew Whitney before I knew Mr. Buck, and I knew Whitney's family before that. But ultimately, you know, the 8 to 4, the Stars Mill thing, we both, and really everybody here, we got to do our job and do the right thing here at Stars Mill more than worry about the personal relationship. And there are certainly times where we're going to have differences of opinion and, you know, have to be able to have those professional discussions and put that, you know, the personal relationship aside, and know that that's exactly that, and that's part of growing up and part of becoming a professional and becoming an adult is being able to have those professional conversations that don't interfere with how you feel about the person.
Right.
It probably helped that he was my teacher in high school, so that I knew there was a
Yeah.
line like in high school, like he was my teacher in high school, like.
So there was already kind of a professional
Oh yeah.
thing there.
Yeah.
So you guys are pretty
so,
much.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. So when I came here, I was like, yeah, but yeah, that helped.
You want to see a picture of her in high school?
I would like
You
to
have
see a
of me
picture.
in high school?
I have the yearbook!
okay,
Oh,
fair
snap.
enough.
Oh, here we go. Let's see here. Your junior year?
Oh, my junior.
Terrifyingly, that's me.
Holy
right there.
cow.
Yeah, Mr. Lennard with hair.
I have pictures of him when he was a junior in high school too.
I have pictures of you when you were a baby child. A baby.
I was a precious baby child. And to be
baby
fair,
child.
you can't see my face, so it could be any baby child.
Let's see.
It's more embarrassing for Matthew.
Sophomores. That
Can I
would
see this
be
picture?
you. No. You'd be junior in this one? Here's this.
Sure. Yeah, this is my class. Oh, there I am.
There
Look
she
at that shot.
is.
Look at that short hair.
Yeah, there you go, right here. You're probably gonna want to zoom in on
He's a
that.
dentist
Yeah.
now.
Wow.
Awesome.
Would you want to show us a picture of you too, or?
It's
He was
totally
on
up
the
to you.
cover, wasn't he?
That year, so the yearbook that year, this is one of my favorite stories. Put the picture, like if you ordered the yearbook,
yeah.
they put your picture
On
on
the
the front
front.
cover, whoever you were, right?
Right.
But we as teachers got the yearbook before the kids did. And so when I got my yearbook that year, I walked into my classes and said, "You guys are never gonna believe it. They put my picture on everybody's yearbook."
Oh
This is
my
how funny
gosh.
he is.
And there were kids freaking out.
Freaking out?
What a shocker.
What? Why your picture? Why not blah blah blah? You know, so and so's picture, and then they realized that everybody got it. So yeah, there you go. My picture on the front of the yearbook.
I should have brought my brother's, like, senior high school.
Nope, I don't have it.
Golden, what's that one?
That's other ones from other years that I was working there.
99, that's it.
90. Oh, that wasn't your brother's senior year.
No, I was thinking that's.
That was the first year I taught there.
Oh, yeah, that's not gonna be. You're right. I was thinking-
You want to see your sophomore picture? No, I'm
Stop it!
I mean, for everybody at home, I'm Thomas Indy here with the Prowler, and we have Mr. Lennard and Ms. Shoemaker. Thank you guys so much for meeting with me and discussing about this. It's been really fun. And have a good one, Starsmill.
Bye, Starsville.
Goodbye, Starsville.
We love Mickey Mouse.